When we calls and move on, so from all this it's understood the Chodesh Iyar, in the month of Iyar, which is Chodesh Hasheni, you have Shnei Inyonim. You have two ideas. Havoida d'ishapcho, the avoida d'ishapcho, turning things around. The birurim, tachlis hashlemus d'sur meira, the ultimate wholesomeness of staying away from bad. Not only is kafia, but is hapcha turning it around, and also v'ha'avoida d'yelchu mechayil el choyil b'kedusha atzma, and also the service of going from strength to strength within kedusha itself in vasei toiv, in doing good. So you have sur meira tachlis hashlemus, and also asei toiv. The Ashloimar, and we can say the Zeu Shaminyan de Bnei Yisrael b'Chodesh Hashenis, Chodesh Hasheni b'Shona Hashenis l'Tzeiso Meretz Mitzrayim. The counting of the Yidden took place in the month of Iyar, which is the second month, when the second year after going out of Mitzrayim. Hoya al Yidei Moshe v'Aaron. So Moshe v'Aaron both participated because of the two levels within the month of Iyar, and that's why they both, Moshe and Aaron, they both counted, because Moshe represents Asei Tov and Aaron represents Sur Meira. He's making peace, Aaron, which means he's negating the Ra. The Sur Meira shebechodesh Hasheni, the idea of Sur Meira in the second month, Shaykh L'Aaron. That's something which belongs to Aaron Shein Yonei, who Oyev Shalom, V'Reidev Shalom, because he is a idea of Aaron was he loved peace and he was running to make peace. The Inyan HaSholem, because what's the concept, the idea of Shalom, who Lishlol HaMachloikes V'Hapirut, that is to negate discord and division, a separation. So that means to take the Ra and negate it. And negate it and to turn it around. That's the idea of Sur Meira, but the highest level of Sur Meira. But the bottom line is it is Sur Meira because you're taking away Machlekes Apirut. But the idea of doing good in the month of Iyar, Shaykh L'Moshe, that belongs to Moshe. Shenyonei Torah. His Inyan is Torah. Torah to begin with, there is no room for something negative, something the opposite, God forbid, to needing to turn things around. There's nothing wrong. This is totally, everything is good. This is also why the pasuk says when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, that he's good. Good. What do you mean good? As soon as he was born, the house filled with light. So this is in the avodah of counting of Iyar. But what about Yitzias Mitzrayim, which is the avodah of Nisan? So why is it Moshe and Aaron over there? Certainly Moshe, who is the level of Asei Tov, but the avodah of Nisan is the idea of Yitzias Mitzrayim, to run away from the Ra. This, that Yitzias Mitzrayim was through Ana Moshe, the Yitzias Mitzrayim is Sur Meira, even though the avodah of Yitzias Mitzrayim is staying away from Ra, Moshe Rabbeinu is not shaykhus to Ra, and Yitzias Mitzrayim is to stay away from Ra. Not just to stay away, but in the way of Iskafia, B'Sur Meira Gofa. But from the Iskafia, in the way of Iskafia. So why did we need over there Aaron and Moshe? So he says, he explains, Ki gam ha'avodah the Iskafia tzricha liyos ba'ofen. Because also the avodah of Iskafia which is in the month of Nisan, which is Yitzias Mitzrayim, but Tzricha Liyas Ba'ofen, it needs to be done in such a way, Shetovi Lo Yirak Liyas Hapcha, not only should it bring to the level of turning around, the rashtin around, the lagam, la'avoida bekav de v'aseitoi, but also in the line to the service in doing good, shalamayla minyan habirurim, which is higher than the idea of sorting out. So it's Moshe v'Aaron because Enoch and Ami, it's stuck at the idea of iskafia, but it's an iskafia that has to bring us to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, to the level of Toiv, not only to bring you to his hapcha in birur hara, but also in the asay Toiv. That's what we need Moshe Rabbeinu there. Yeshloim Shal Derech Hamvur B'Tanya can say that this is similar to what's explained in the Tanya. Shagam Elu Sheikir Avidosum Hu Al Tirosha. Even those who their main service is to stay away from being a Rosha, the level of Iskafia Tzrichim Liishtad Lekayim Es Hashvuah Tzaddik. They need to put in an effort to fulfill the promise, the Shvuah that they got when they were born, also to be a Tzaddik. Mainly, they're part of Al Tirosha, that part of the Shvuah, because they're not in the level of Tzaddik, but still they need to make an effort to fulfill the Shvuah of Tzaddik. Hein benegei liyes moyes bara, both with regards to be repugnant from bad in this hapla, which means a higher level than just battling Al Tirosha, but to also effect by themselves to be evil, to be repugnant, to be moyes, the idea of his hapla. And furthermore, as well as it relates to delighting and rejoicing in Hashem, through reflection in the greatness of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which is the positive avodah of Moshe, avodah the kedusha shelamaylo minyan habirurim. This is the service in kedusha, which is higher than ibirurim, both from his kafi and his apla. That is also what is expected. Even somebody who's b'chlal avodah al tirosha, that's the main. But occasionally they have to try to also reach that level. So now we're saying that in Nisan, the Yitzias Mitzrayim is through Moshe and Aaron, because they have to reach the highest level, not just iskafia. And the same thing is the reverse when we're in the month of Iyar, in which it's his hapcha, and it's the highest level, Mechayel el-Choyel, and the positive in Kedusha, we also need Aaron, we also need the iskafia. Hey, same things on the other hand. That even when we find ourselves in the avodah of the month of Iyar, which is avodah the iskafia, that's the one aspect of Iyar, which is the sheni. But as we said before, also in Iyar we have the service in the level of the Merkava, which is totally bittul b'mitzias, which is hamshocha kedusha, as he talked about, that the main thing of zo is to be mashpia. So in there needs to be a mark left over, that energy, that passion, and that excitement that came through the work of Iskafia in the month of Nisan. For that reason, we mentioned the exodus of Egypt also when Mashiach comes, because even when we'll be in the level of Mashiach and Nishapcha and the Tachlis Hashlemas, we still have to have left over the excitement that we have b'Yitzias Mitzrayim when there was Iskafia. Well, Inyan who, and the idea is over here is Tiksharahu betokvei, when the Ra is still in its full force. Hinayira Mahara is the fear from the evil. Goyremes habricha mimena. This causes us to run away from it. Ba'ofen the chipozin, in a way of hastily, quickly running away. Ba'ideh chipozin the Yisrael, because Yidden are serving Hashem by hastily running away. Nasa gamach chipozin Hashem, this also creates and brings about the haste of the divine, so to speak. Medalig al hahonim mekapitz al agvois, that quickly he jumps over the mountains. He jumps over the hills. The chipozin maybe lidiluk shelamayla meseder v'hadroga. When you're in a level of chipozin, level of iskafia barach, this brings about the jumping over, which is higher than the order and step by step. As opposed to the service of his hapcha after he's already gone out of the ra. There's no rush anymore. Kolshkin ha'avodah devasei is not when you're doing the avodah in the positive. There's no chipazon there. There's no haste over there. It's in an order and step by step. And that's why we got to bring into it the idea, the concept of the jumping over of the exodus of Egypt. This is the idea of Pesach, the jumping, the second jump sheni. Hamshachas hadilug, to bring down that level of jump over beha'avoida, higher than medido agvoda in the avoida v'asei toiv. In the avodah of doing good, ha'avodah the chodesh hasheni, which is the avodah of the second month. So la'achrei hadiluk shehoya beha'avodah the surmira. After the diluk that was in the service surmira Pesach Rishon, over there was Taki Chipozin, over there the Ra was over there, but we want to be mamshir that even in the Vasei Toiv, in the positive, in the Merkavah month. So that level of diluk extends also in the avodah of Avasei Toiv in Pesach Shem. Valderech, similar to Mashakosu, the pasuk says, Moshcheni acharecha narutzo. So while Hashem pulls the nefesh alikis, the nefesh abamis runs also. The idea shenefesh alikis. So Moshcheni means pull the nefesh habahamis through the nefesh alikis, and it draws it in that it should have the love of Hashem. The nefesh habahamis v'derech berutzo, that is in a way the nefesh habahamis runs in its level of love. So then also the nefesh alikis begins to run. Narutzo lo sharabim will run together. The nefesh alikis will run together with nefesh habahamis, because the nefesh alikis brought about that narutzo to the nefesh habahamis, so they both run. But after you extended that dilug in the avodah v'asei toiv, dilug zehu naila yoser ma dilug de Pesach. That dilug is a higher level of the dilug of Pesach. Ki hu machmas hayira mehora inyan bifnei atzmei. It's higher because that is the dilug of Pesach is because of the fear of the Ra as a separate entity, like it's this separate, there is Ra there, and you're running away from it. As opposed to, which is the month of Iyar, the dilug of Torah mitzvahs, havodah devasei toiv, umipnei shem chochmasu ritzoneh shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That is because it's the wisdom and the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'li gvul amiti, the true b'li gvul. V'lochein la'acharei shemizgala ha'b'li gvul shebohem. So after the b'li gvul in the Torah mitzvahs, in the avodah v'asei toiv, is revealed through alidei hadilug de surmira, through the dilug of surmira, which comes from Ra, which is v'nei atzmei hadilug. So the idea of bligvul, which is higher than order, the avodah of Asei Toiv, the avodah of Asei Toiv, the Pesach Sheni, who dilug godly yosef is a greater, it's a greater level of dilug after it was brought around the Moshcheni, when the narutz of the nefesh alikis is even greater. Also understand the saying of my father, the Rebbe, Pesach Sheni Shayich LaNefesh HaShenis. That Pesach Sheni is connected to the second soul. Nefesh Hashenis B'Yisrael. That's the godly soul. Kimailas Hadilug, the Pesach Sheni al Hadilug, the Pesach Rishonu, because the advantage of the Dilug that's Pesach Sheni over the Dilug of Pesach Rishon is Hadilug, the Pesach Rishon, the Dilug of Pesach Rishon, the jumping who mitzada Helen Behester, the Nefesh HaBahamis. That is based because the Nefesh HaBahamis, the animal soul, blocks and obscures the Nefesh HaRishona. That's why you're jumping from that. But Dilug, the Pesach Sheni, but the Dilug that comes with the second Pesach, Ushem is Gala Habligvus the Nefesh Habligvul the Nefesh Hashenis, is because the Bligvul of the second soul is revealed. Which is a part of Hashem Mimal, actually. So that is what is the impetus and the cause for the Diluk. Shagam be liyosem ulubeshes beguf, that even while it is dressed up in the body, there is the bligvul nefesh that does that. You still have the nefesh alikis is dressed up there. It is a godly part, and mamish meloshim mishus. You can feel it because it is in the guf. And the Rebbe adds involved. Not only is it greater, but it's actually infinitely greater. The dilug of Pesach Sheni. Perhaps we can add Shamaylas hadilug the Pesach Sheni al hadilug the Pesach Rishon. The advantage of the jump over of the second Pesach over the first Pesach, it's infinitely greater. We call this also a jump over, even relative to the jump over that took in the Pesach Rishon. Similar what the pasuk says, just as the days of Eretz Mitzrayim. So it's going to be miracles, even relative to the miracles that took place when you went Eretz Mitzrayim. Shahagiluyim the Geula Ha'asida, those revelation of the future redemption. Niflois, they will be wondrous gam legabe niflois shahoyu b'tzias Mitzrayim, even relative to the niflois, the wonders that were in Tzias Mitzrayim. Pesach Sheni is infinitely greater, and it's a dilug even legabe the dilug. Why? How so? Cnei. So to explain hashaychas the Pesach Sheni legula hasida to Pesach Sheni to the future redemption, in which we're comparing it now. That over there I made Mitzrayim the floors, and here the dilig will be even legabe the dilig of Pesach Rishon. So what's the connection of Pesach Sheni and the future redemption? The Protis Yeser more detail. In the Isa b'Medrash, we find in the Medrash Agulas Mitzrayim that the redemption of Mitzrayim v'chein hageula megolus bavel v'shad hageulas ad lagulad la'asid. And also the redemption from the Golus Bubble and the other Gulas until the Gula of the future. Hidugmas Eir Haner. That is all like the light of the lamp. Light of the lamp extinguishes after a while. So the Gula from Bubble and the other ones, they were like the light of the lamp. But the Gula of the future is like the light of the sun that does not extinguish. Explain the Chassidus. Why is the redemption of Mitzrayim been equated to the light of the lamp? Is Kineir Ubichinas Malchus. Neir, lamp is level of Malchus. And the revelation that took place with the redemption of Egypt, even though it was a revelation from higher than it dressed up in the level of Malchus. It was then like the level of Neir. He jumped over onto the entrance. The Pesach of Malchus, that's Malchus, Kenal Sif Aleph. As we said earlier, then move on. So from this we understand. So why do we equate now the future redemption to the light of the sun? because the revelation of higher than Ishtalshlus that will be then, will be in the level of Zoh, not Malchus. Is the Pesach Sheni, Ligula HaSido. That's the connection of Pesach Sheni future redemption, because we said about Pesach Sheni, it's also the Sheni is the Yisoid, it's level of Zoh. The Pesach Sheni will be Yisoid Zoh because the revelation of the second Pesach is in the level of Yisoid of Zoh Kenal, as we said earlier. Oizayin v'yirotzin, the Rebbe ends with the bracha. Maybe the will Shemaseinu v'avedisenu, that our actions, our work, especially those matters as they connect to second Pesach, they should bring closer and hasten even more Hagula HaSida, the future redemption. Shagam Hagula HaSida Tiya Ba'ifun Shal Dilek. Because also the future redemption will be in a way of jump over the Isa Medrash, as it says in the Medrash, the Kol Doidi Goimer, Medalig Ala Horim, the voice, the sound of my doidi, of my beloved that is jumping at the mountains, the Melech HaMashiach. Not only is it jumping over, not only is it dilug, Begula Hasidla Yia dilug godly Yisrael. It will be even a greater jump. Dugmas Avalamaila, it was similar, but even higher Madilug the Pesach Sheni, Shehu dilug godly Yisrael Madilug the Pesach Rishon. The Pesach Sheni is a greater dilug than Pesach Rishon. So that's the dilug going to be la'osila, but even more similar to that, but even more than the dilug of Pesach Sheni. It will not be in an order and step by step at all. Kapsak din, as the ruling is miyad heinegolim, immediately to be redeemed. The bias Mashiach tzidkenu, with the coming of our righteous Mashiach. Yovev yigolender, and come redeem us. V'yelechenu k'nemius la'artzenu, take us upright to our land, mamish, speedily in our day, mamish.